Harry the Horse Barbecue.
Welcome to Harry the Horse Barbecue, guys. I'm Harry. Today we're gonna be grilling up some ribeye steaks on the PK grill, and we're gonna get seasoning these bad boys. You can take a look at these steaks if you want to come in closer. Well, we got some bone-in ribeye steaks. They're probably about, I don't know, they're about an inch thick or so, and these are courtesy of Barb's Butchery in the Hudson Valley. We have some great butchers. Barb's Butchery, great place to go to pick up steaks if you're in the area. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna check these guys out. We might do a little bit of trimming on them, and then we're gonna season them up some pretty simple kosher salt, some coarse black pepper, some onion, some garlic, real basic, and we're gonna grill them up on the PK. So I'm gonna take a look at a couple of these steaks and see if there's anything I would like to trim off here. So let's get rid of this guy. So what happens at Barb's Butchery, actually, they bring in a whole animal and they break it down themselves. So this should be pretty good quality stuff. I don't see too much exterior fat on here. Maybe a little bit here if I feel like trimming something. You know, we want that spinalis to really, shine through here. So this is a little sloppy on this end. Maybe take a little bit of this fat off and chuck it, no big deal. But they're looking pretty good all around. You can see some nice marbling throughout here. The spinalis especially has got some nice marbling. Ribeyes are always usually pretty fatty. This one's got pretty good marbling throughout. And let's take a look at the other two that we got going here. Alright, so not much to that, just trimming these guys up. They look great. The marbling, like I said, looks really, really nice throughout. This interior part, pretty hard to get tender sometimes, but a lot of fat running through there. The spinalis is looking nice. A big spinalis on all of these, so they're looking good. So let's get to seasoning these guys. I'm going to season salt first. Kosher salt, always the way to go, so you can see how much you're adding onto the meat itself. I like to season with salt separately, that way I can control it, alright? There we got some coarse black pepper. I'm going to sprinkle that on as well. I'm going to come back with some garlic powder here. Okay, nice coat of that. And lastly, we're going to come back with some onion powder just to finish it off. Alright, so we're just going to flip these guys over, do the same exact process on the other side. Notice I'm just patting in the seasoning. I don't want to rub it in, and I'm not trying to work the meat too much. Okay, so we're just trying to get the stick on the exterior. And flip these guys over, just do the same exact process on the other side. Alright, so these guys are seasoned up, and one thing is, we want to make sure we get the edges too, so you can see there's some extra seasoning on the board here. Just gonna go around, make sure we get some of the edges of this guy. Don't want to waste that seasoning either. And then once I do that to these three steaks, we're just gonna let these guys hang out on the board. Maybe about 15, 20 minutes or so while we get the PK fired up. And we'll show you how to do that coming up in 1 sec. Alright, so let's get the PK fired up. So today we're going to use some Royal Oak natural lump charcoal. We're going to fill up about a chimney full of this. some gets away from you, it's no big deal, we can throw it back in. And the lump charcoal is pretty irregular, so don't worry about that. All right, oops, bring that away from me there. A couple fall off the bottom, no big deal, throw them on top. Okay, and what I got here are a couple of wax starter cubes. So we're just gonna light these up. And we're gonna get this charcoal chimney going. You can see I got some old charcoal here. It didn't really break down to embers. I'm gonna reuse it. Don't see the harm in that. It's gonna be a pretty quick cook, but we're gonna get this nice and hot, about 15 minutes. Then we're gonna throw these grates on. Get those grates screaming hot. Trying to get temperatures upwards of 500 degrees. We'll throw those steaks on and sear them. We'll bring you back when we get to that point. So we got this chimney full of charcoal, nice and lit. You can see how the embers are burning pretty white hot below the surface here. I'm gonna dump this out across the grate. That guy. Spread it out a bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back with a couple pieces of pecan wood. Throw those guys in there, nestle them in. I'm gonna come back with a little bit more, maybe about a half chimney or so of unlit charcoal and come right over the top. That way we get these grill grates smoking hot. So we're gonna close this guy up to get it really nice and hot, then we'll throw the grill grates on. You can see the smoke is rolling here. That's from that pecan wood we put in there. And what we wanna do for this cook is we wanna keep all of our vents wide open. We want as much airflow as possible to get into the cook chamber, so I have both my top vents and my bottom vents wide open to maximize the amount of airflow so this thing gets as hot as possible. So it's been a few minutes that we've had this chamber closed, smoke's rolling. We're gonna get these grill grates on to get them nice and smoking hot. And you'll see, as I do this, you might see some flames start to pop up. That's because of the amount of oxygen getting in there. So we got these grill grates, you can get them for your PK. Really great for searing things like steak. You gotta work quickly because these things get hot. Just trying to link them up nicely, okay? And notice I'm wearing glove liners and some nitrile gloves, those things are gonna get screaming hot. Just wanna protect my hands. We'll let this go for a few minutes and we'll throw those steaks on, get them nice and seared on both sides. Check them with the Thermapen, they'll be great. We've let this PK heat up for maybe a good 5 minutes or so. Get those grill grates screaming hot. I'm gonna sear these and we're gonna set a timer for 1.5 minutes on each side, okay? So let's get this guy going. We do 2 steaks at a time. I'm going to place these guys down, give them a good pat down. Alright, we're going to close this up. I'm going to set a timer for 1.5 minutes. So it's been about 1.5 minutes now. I'm going to get underneath these guys. I'm going to give them about a 90-degree turn onto the other side of the grill as best as we can get it. Scrape off the excess. Alright, we're going to close this up for another 1.5 minutes, and we'll swing them back, flip them over, and let them go again. It's been about another 1.5 minutes. We're going to check these guys out. You see all the grease just pouring out of these guys, all that juice. I'm gonna do the same thing. And not so impressive.
Dude, that looks awesome.
That one looks good. Not too bad on this guy. This guy maybe could have used a few more minutes, but we'll load this guy back up, close it down, do about another minute and a half, do the same thing on the other side. All right, so it's been about another minute and a half. We'll check on these guys. They're looking good. We're gonna take them, we're gonna rotate 90 degrees again. Now is when I wanna start checking them with the Thermapen. Because now we're looking for an internal temperature of maybe around somewhere between 128 and 130-ish for a nice medium rare. We're reading about 140 already. These guys are looking like they're just about done. We'll give them another sear on this side. They're reading about 140, so a little bit over where I'd like them to be. But that's all right. All right, so we'll leave the lid open for this, the rest of this cook. Get them nice and seared, and then we'll take them off and throw this next guy on. So we let these guys go about another 45 seconds on the other side. They're reading about 130 to 140, somewhere in that range. So we're gonna let those guys rest for a little bit, and we're gonna throw this last guy on the grill right now. And we do the same exact thing, let them go for about a minute and a half, turn them. Actually, we might let this guy go for a minute. Let's try a minute on this one. Yep. Seriously with this guy. All right, so this guy's been on for about a minute and a half. We're gonna check him. We're gonna try and get that nice medium rare doneness to this guy. Pick him up. Do a 90-degree turn. Let him down. Scrape off this part of the grill. Close him up. We'll do about another minute and a half on this guy. We'll see when we get back. So it's been about another minute 30. Woo, that smoke is rolling. And pick this guy up. Yeah, that's what we're talking about now. Give this guy about another minute on this side. This guy is hot. And then we'll do the same thing. Rotate it. We'll be right back. All right, so it's been about a minute 15. We'll lift this guy up. See those beautiful sear marks on this guy. I'll take them, rotate 90 degrees. And now is when I'm gonna start, again, checking the internal temps with the Thermapen. We're reading 135, 130. Down here we're at about 120. So we're gonna close this guy up, let him go for another minute and 15. That should be it. All right, so it's been about another minute and a half on this guy. We're gonna check the internal temps. 135. This guy's ready to go, ready to rock and roll. We're gonna take him off. See the beautiful sear marks on this guy. So we've been letting these guys rest for at least about 10 minutes now. And we're gonna cut into them and see what we're working with. So we're gonna kind of go right through here so you can see the doneness. We got a nice medium going on in between here. It's usually pretty difficult to show up on camera. We got a nice pink kind of running all the way through, okay? Actually better than I thought, which is very nice. I'm gonna take a bite from the spinalis about right here, because you know that's where, you know, if you cook it in an SCA competition or whatever, that's kind of where the judges eat from. We're gonna take a nice little bite from here. Oops. And you can see, you wanna come in close and see this. We got pink kind of through and through. Nice little chunk of fat in there. Here's kind of that middle part. We got the spinalis on the outside here. So we'll see how we did. Salt and pepper on the outside, some little garlic powder, a little onion powder. We seared it on the PK, both sides, about 1.5 minutes. These guys were a little thinner than I thought. Maybe 1 minute on each side would have done us, but let's see how we did. That's what I'm talking about right there. Beautiful meat, nice and seasoned. Perfect doneness too. I'm very pleased with this. Nice pink throughout. Hard to beat this. So you guys at home, go out and try this. Go grab a couple of nice ribeye steaks, throw them on the grill, whether you got a PK or not. I suggest picking one up. Even on a gas grill, you can do a similar thing. You guys will not be disappointed. So thanks for tuning in to Harry the Horse Barbecue. Check out us for future videos on smoking different meats, and keep on grilling out there, you know? Show us what you got going. And we'll be happy to post more videos. Catch you guys on the next one. This is really good. Hope the other guys turned out like this too. I think they did. I gotta get me some more of this. Mmm.